Animation has been a monumental storytelling method in the film industry. As time goes on, the industry evolves, starting from paper, converting to digital, and now we're animating in 3D. Now let's jump back over 100 years. The zoetrope was invented. The first pictures came to life through this invention. When spun, a series of pictures will cycle at a fast rate, creating an illusion. It's almost as if the drawing is moving. The first animations used this illusion by quickly cycling through photos of drawings using a projector. With this technique, the first animated feature film was made. It was called Gertie the Dinosaur. In 1917, the 70-minute long film was released into theaters at an impressive 14 frames per second, which essentially means that there are 14 drawings being cycled through 1 second. Unfortunately, we will never be able to view this masterpiece again, as the only copy of the film had been burnt in a fire. In the late 1900s, animation studios like Disney began using computer animation. Toy Story was Disney's great debut in the field, shaping the industry standards for today's animated films. Disney films such as Frozen, Zootopia, and Ratatouille all use this form of animation. Now, why exactly does Disney use this style of animation over hand-drawn animation? For starters, computer animation is way more efficient. In hand-drawn animation, you have to draw each and every frame. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs had 250,000 drawings in total. Computer animation is more like puppeteering. You model and rig characters, allowing them to move. You do this by moving their limbs from point A to point B, and the computer fills in the space for you, making the animation look smoother and more realistic. Computer animation also just generally looks more realistic. This is because computer animation is based around a 3D environment that you model instead of a computer, and 2D animation is just based around layers that create the illusion of a 3D environment. The environment in a computer animation has light sources that is created by the computer software, allowing the characters and surroundings to have realistic lighting, and on top of that, realistic textures can be applied to characters and environments. Over the years, textures and lighting have improved dramatically in the industry. For example, if you compare Toy Story 1 and 4, if you look at the skin textures, they adopted this new texture called subsurface scattering. I really don't know anything about it, but as you can see, it obviously changed something, because just look at the improvements. Though 2D animation looks less realistic and is inefficient, as technology advances, these issues can be addressed. Using software such as Dynab, you can transform animations at 24 frames per second into animations at 60 frames per second. The application multiplies the frame rate by adding frames in between one another, making the animation appear even more realistic. Because you don't need to draw 60 frames for every second of a film, and can use the software to fill in the gaps, animators can do a lot more for a lot less. Let's try that one more time. But what has truly given me hope for the revival of 2D animation was the creation of the film Klaus on Netflix. Klaus uses a light engine just like those used in 3D computer animation, allowing these flat 2D characters look 3D and almost real. The light engines used in Klaus is essentially an AI that creates lighting and shading on lines and objects based on a source's position and a source's intensity. Additionally, texture was added to the characters so that they look like they're a part of the environment, whereas in other animated films, the characters looked almost plastered on. Klaus isn't all hand-drawn. It does have some 3D elements, which use the same light sources as the 2D characters, allowing for a seamless mesh of the two different styles of animation. These 3D elements implemented on a 2D world makes Klaus look almost real, while keeping the nostalgic personality that hand-drawn films